Investigative journalist Pushp Sharma conducted a sting operation on the basis of long research. A Kerala High Court judge and the public prosecutors in the case of the two Italian Marines made candid confessions to Sharma on Spycam that prove the Indian judicial system is just engaged in a cover-up operation. The Indian judicial system is harping on a very thin line of specific law in this Marines case which doesn't exist, he found. And even the former learned special public prosecutor admitted the unique nature of this case has created a situation where the Indian Parliament has to enact new laws to tackle such cases in the future. The current existing law raises more questions than it answers. Ironically, the Indian judiciary, in spite of knowing this fact, threw the ball into the court of the Indian central government, and there is utter confusion in both the judiciary and the central government. They forget that the international community is monitoring closely how the two Italian Marines were sent to jail and have been detained so far without any clarity in charges against them or under which law they could be prosecuted. The trial of the lower court came to an abrupt halt after the Supreme Court intervened. Now again the case is on ground zero. A new probe agency will re-investigate, new charges should be framed, but still there is no special court so far. 2 years have gone by and there is no charge sheet, no court and no federal mechanism. Surprisingly, the highest judicial body of India and both its judges, Justice Chellamaswar and the Chief Justice of India, Altamas Kabir, have given odd verdicts. Italy needs to act faster based on new facts emerging from this daring expose on the judicial bodies of the Marines shooting case. While the owner of the Italian ship, the Enrica Alexis, is busy saving his own skin and focused to run his business, successive frequent changes in government in Italy gave India the best chance to manipulate the entire case. And now finally the Marines, fighters against terrorism, are going to face charges under India's Terrorist Act. The objective of this undercover media investigation was to expose the vulnerable Indian judicial system that is working on emotive issues illogically and irrationally. The ex-Indian regime under Congress, the Gandhi family, didn't do anything because it never wanted to give an opportunity to opposition parties of seeming soft on the Italians because UPA chairperson herself is an Italian citizen. The new NDA-led government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi wants to settle political scores with the Gandhi family, and for them the two Marines are a soft target to give emotional appeal to the Indian masses on how nationalist their political party is. The Italian Marines now face the worst period of their drama. Going against Italy is considered nationalism for the new NDA government. India-Italy relations are at an all-time low due to diplomatic fallout from the Marines case. In the existing scenario, Italy has no option except to allow India to have the upper hand or count on this new media expose and use its strength to forcefully mobilize allies and the international community to make the rescue of the Marines a top priority above dirty cross-party politics. The big question is, will the Italian government open its eyes to the machinations of these judicial conspiracies carried out right under its nose? Will the Republic of Italy continue to be blind to the multiple layers of this sophisticated crime? Here is the evidence and the people are watching. Here is the tale told in the journalist's own words. My journalistic instinct smelled something fishy about the whole affair, he said. Why have all those Kerala judicial fellows fallen silent? I asked myself, and the more I thought, the more I was convinced that the entire courtroom drama was not so noble. Maybe there was something more sinister in their design than I could have imagined. Only an undercover investigation could allow me to know and expose what lay beneath and bring the truth to the public domain. It was not possible for me to approach socially these public prosecutors and judges and talk them into revealing the truth. So I decided to pull a fast one on them, he said, and make them talk by giving me comparative opinion on the Kerala trial versus the Supreme Court of India. Keeping their side protected, they started giving me legal standing of the entire case and explaining how funnily, illogically and irrationally the Supreme Court is behaving as they see it. Suddenly I became a much sought-after person, and honest Kerala advocates, public prosecutors and judges exposed the Supreme Court in further meetings with me. With it began to unfold a sordid saga conspiracy they had hatched at the topmost levels of the judiciary to support the judicial process. As Pushpa pursued his investigation, he began to see through the complex cobweb leading the trial to the top, from the troika of politicians, public prosecutors, Director General of Prosecution and the Judge of Kerala High Court. Although I could never meet Supreme Court judges, he said, I don't have to exert grey cells much to understand at whose behest the whole conspiracy has been put in place.
For you, also I got some questions, and from one, sir, I have some confusion.
Tell me. You just
Supreme Court says the incident occurred in contiguous zone, which is beyond 12 nautical miles.
Yeah.
What was happening in the Kerala trial court? You were saying that it happened in contiguous, or it happened?
Contiguous zone.
Okay.
But according to Kerala police, the limit of jurisdiction will not stop short at contiguous zone. It will extend up to 200 nautical miles by virtue of that notification.
But Supreme Court is saying that it is a grey area.
It is not a grey area. It is not a grey area. It's like this. According to Justice Atlamas Kabir, India will be having jurisdiction only up to 24 nautical miles.
Yeah.
And according to Justice Chalamesar, India will be jurisdiction up to 200 nautical miles. So which will survive? I don't know. Issue number one. Issue number two, for ousting the jurisdiction of Kerala, Atlamas Kabir said 2 points. One is that Kerala is having jurisdiction only up to 12 nautical miles.
Right.
Issue number two is the confrontation was with the sovereign state. So a federal unit of a state is not having authority to confront with a sovereign state. This is the. Now as far as Chalamesar is concerned, he said nothing about this aspect. He just said, I agree with the conclusions of my learned brother. Yes, now.
Sir, but in the coastal related incidents, we don't have the federal courts, right?
No, we don't even have the
federal system to investigate. Then why this has been taken to the central where we don't have
the issue is, if today an incident happens,
yes, that's what I am coming.
Who will investigate?
Who will investigate? And this is the first incident, sir, which happened in the contiguous zone or somewhere grey area, or before that?
It is for the first time in India. A foreign citizen committed an offence against an Indian citizen within the sea wherein India is having sovereign rights.
But earlier, other incidents happened, but not foreigners were involved.
Right. Okay. If it is an Indian, no issue. If it is between two foreigners, no issue. Now, when an offence committed by a foreigner and
two sovereign states, then
not sovereign state strictly, because a foreign national committed an offence which in consequence ensued in India. Because admittedly he is in a floating island.
Right.
A ship is a floating nation.
Right.
He fired from a floating nation which was sailing through the sovereign authority of India.
So that's why few complications are going on. Sir, Supreme Court, you told me about the question of the charge sheet. If there is no charge sheet, then we will investigate the case again.
Totally take away the charge against them.
Right. But till date, we never had the federal
because
mechanism.
The FIR stands good.
Yes, FIR is required. Yes.
So there is no investigation, but they are accused in crime number 2 of Nindagara police station, which has to be investigated by a competent authority, which got no. So additionally we can say that there is no charge sheet, but he cannot say that there is no FIR.
No, of course he didn't say. He said charge sheet has been quashed.
Charge is quashed, we cannot say. Quashed we cannot say. Because there is a legal presumption that once the sanction is not afforded for NIA, the investigation conducted by NIA will be in doldrums. But it is for the Supreme Court to say. What if Supreme Court says that you give the sanction?
Sir, what is the responsibility of coastal police now?
No, for the time being, there is no responsibility, because they were not been notified as officers for Indian Penal Code.
So they are sitting silently.
They cannot do anything, because they are
tomorrow anything happens, then they are not.
They cannot do anything.
They have to wait from Chanakya.
Or otherwise, they have to put in SUA Act.
But SUA is the sole right of central government.
No, central government, but for SUA Act, Coast Guards have been notified.
So Supreme Court is creating confusion.
Supreme Court created the confusion. Actually, if Justice Atlamas Kabir was having an opinion that India is not having jurisdiction, he would have stated that the FIR is quashed.
But he is not saying
He is not saying that. Instead, he is creating so much confusion for me. Actually, this should either be a man or a woman.
Of course, there is no way in between. Typically.
Now we can understand Supreme Court saying that we are not having jurisdiction over 12 nautical miles. We can accept it because it's the law of the land.
Right.
Now one judge saying that it's 24 nautical miles, and another judge is saying that it's 200 nautical miles. How we can justify this action?
Is there any way to sir to protest against this kind of confusion?
Actually, this ought to be rectified because the international community was looking at the judgment,
right,
and the judgment is so confusing that it will fell upon the entire judicial system in India.
Right.
That's the issue. Actually, being a lawyer, I felt it ridiculous. Constrained to use the word ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Constrained to use the word ridiculous.
Sir, how I should address the Indian Marines? So suppose if my article goes in the final lines, I should address them as the killers or the victims of circumstances. What should be my line of writing this?
This should be understood as a stray incident, and this should not be taken as issue based. Our focus should be what if the law emerged from this incident. There should be clarity for this.
There are so many marks of interrogation are coming
about this incident because
yes,
we can give them clemency, or it can be a victim of circumstance, can be a killer. But for the first time it so happened, we can understand their plight and it can be acknowledged. But what will be the law emerged from this case?
Sir, last time when I talked to you, my last question is about the same thing. Sir, objective of punishing anyone is to bring back to him, to the guy, to the mainstream of society.
Yeah, last time
you told me.
So, there cannot be any reformation
of Italians. So based on this,
out of this, what is to be emerged is the law governing admiralty, penal jurisdiction should be clear.
Which is not clear till date.
Not clear. I give emphasis on the second aspect, wider aspect.
Right.
What is the?
You go to the center point.
We can see Enrique Alexi cases and his legal stances in two perceptions. Perception number one, on a narrow view regarding the fact and circumstance of this case and its legal intricacies. Two, in a wider sense, what is the law emerged and what will be the law if this incident occurs
anytime in future.
My opinion, the present law can be applied to that. Is my conclusion.
Okay. Again, the same. Now, when they talk about this investigation will be conducted by NIA. Earlier it was Kerala police. I've gone through the entire charge sheet, everything. I talked to different highly esteemed officers. It was wonderful work they have done. Even the ballistic reports, forensic work, everything they have done. Wonderful, meticulous. As a journalist, I could not challenge even a single point that they have committed a mistake.
Very wonderful.
Wonderful. Sir, we journalists have this kind of relationship with police because we understand sometimes they cook up different stories. But this case solidly standing on the ground of truth. But now again, so my lord says that it should be gone to NIA. And now our foreign minister, he is saying that we will apply SUA, but we will not give death penalty.
Even the government has to file an undertaking that SUA will not be applied. That is, Supreme Court should not have done it. It is a matter to be agitated before the trial court. They could have. It is not for the government to say what law we would make applicable to a particular incident. It is for the court to decide. Suppose a crime is committed, before bringing the charge, the court has to decide what are the law applicable. That is for what offences the parties have to be tried. That is a matter to be decided by the trial court.
But Salman Khurshid sir, he is saying in Parliament and to.
It is sub judice, in my opinion.
So somewhere it's a mockery of judicial.
I don't say it is mockery, but they are not thinking about the seriousness of the words that you are.
The gravity of this case.
Gravity of this case. They should not have mentioned it. It is for the court to decide.
They
What
will
are the laws to be applied? We have got the laws. It is not for the ministers to say that this law is not applicable, that law is not applicable. Even Supreme Court should not ask the opinion about it. It is for the trial court to decide. Suppose the trial was allowed to be conducted in pursuance to my judgment, this matter could have been our trial could have been over before the trial court.
Right. It has gone to different levels.
Different levels. ഹലോ ഇന്ന് വേണ്ട, ഒരു 2 ദിവസത്തിൽ കഴിയല്ലോ. എന്നത്തേക്കാ വേണ്ട? തരാം സാർ, ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് തിരക്കുണ്ട് സാർ. ഞാൻ തരാം. ഞാൻ അതിന്റെ പോയിന്റ്സ് ഒക്കെ കളക്ട് ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചു. ഞാനൊരു ന്യൂ സബ്ജക്റ്റ് ഞാൻ അതിന്റെ പോയിന്റ്സ് ഒക്കെ കളക്ട് ചെയ്ത് വെച്ച് അതിന്റെ നോക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അത് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് വിത്തിൻ 1 or 2 days. 6-ാം തീയതി. ഓക്കെ, നോക്കാം. എനിക്ക് പിന്നെ നാളെ എനിക്ക് കാലടിയിൽ ശങ്കര യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലൊരു മീറ്റിംഗ് ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ ഞാനിപ്പോൾ ഒരു വേറെ മീറ്റിംഗിൽ ഇരിക്കുകയാണ്. വേറെ എന്തൊരു സാക്ഷ്യം 2 മണിക്കൂർ മാറാൻ കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട് സാർ. ഐ എം നൗ പേയിങ് മോർ ഇൻകം ടാക്സ്. നോക്കട്ടെ സാർ. Jumping beyond the circle. I used to jump within the circle.
Within limitation.
Within the circle. That's a limitation.
Right.
It's a limitation. Our every moment.
Lakshman Rekha.
Lakshman Rekha. I never jumped the bounds of this Lakshman Rekha.
Same way. When I do.
And the thing is that sometimes the judges in the higher courts feel that they are not bound by the law. Then the problem. They are bound by the law. Every matter reaches them before them should be decided in accordance with the law of the land. If the law of land has got some doubt about it, we have to stick on to dharma. Sanatana dharma. That is Indian culture. Even Manusmriti, that they deal with the dharma.
Even the own logo, Satyameva Jayate.
Satyameva Jayate. That is ground reality should be cannot be ignored. The ground reality should be given due regard.
Irrespective of the richness or the poorness of the person who is coming for justice.
See, I had some seniority disputes with those who were appointed as district judge and judge director. Some persons appointed subsequent to my appointment were posted. I fought it before the I took it before the High Court. They didn't follow my case. I took it before the Supreme Court. They argued, they heard it with seriousness, but the judgment was rendered without heeding any law, without mentioning any law.
It happens.
It happens.
That's how to deal with this supreme kind of things where funny things are coming out. What is the way out to fight all these things?
And the Supreme Court, the honorable judges of the Supreme Court shall not jump the bounds of the law. They shall not jump the bounds of the precedent. Not only them, every judge shall not.
But in this case, somewhere it
that I don't say. But with the due respect, I don't say. It is for the public to decide. There is a.
Sir, public is dependent on the
And
constitution.
I still believe that there is a judge of all judges.
But so when they say after 2 years Kerala doesn't have the jurisdiction to take up this case. How we should read
I
it?
rendered my judgment understanding that my judgment will be run in international level. I thought that I shall not come with any error. That is how I rendered the judgment. I don't know. Suppose the Supreme Court had given any reasoning to say that my judgment is not correct, I would have been happy. Should have been an landmark judgment in the international legal field.
legal fraternity, when I talked in the legal fraternity of there, then your name was mentioned that you was quite consistent in giving on the facts. But later on next day when I read in the newspaper, the Supreme Court saying,
I even could not, to be frank with you, I could not understand the rationalized behavior of the judgment of the Supreme Court. I want
fine, they are my own. What you can say, fine.
And in my opinion, everybody
they know best. Sometimes in media a story comes, then even judiciary thinks why media people are doing this story. So then media person, they know best how to do the story. Same way probably in judiciary, judges they are the best people to define a particular thing. Though in black and white it is written in the books. But rather than going with this thing, SUA was very complicated for me to understand. It got a long.
No, after SUA it is a case, a case in which they have to be sentenced to death. That alone is there. There is no option.
There is no option. I think that relates to terrorist act.
Terrorist act, but terrorism.
It's part of some element of terrorism. And sir, if government wants, they can avoid this death penalty clause.
No, it is not the appropriate. It is for the court to decide.
It is judiciary to decide.
Yes.
How a foreign minister can say that we will delete all these things?
Yes, sir.
Then it means the foreign minister, whatever he was saying.
Not only the foreign minister, government also has no feeling. But suppose there is a policy decision, it is another. But when it is argued that the offence under duality was also committed, it is for the court to see whether it is there or not.
But sir, even it is a policy matter, yes sir. Even if it is a policy matter, sir, then what about those poor fishermen who have been killed before and after? Maybe some might get killed because that's a very dangerous place. Why we are giving special status?
Now what would be the next, suppose a similar incident happens in the future, what is the next stage, how the case can be initiated, who would do it, who was from the incident, you put all these questions there and try to find out that. If not, you leave it for the relation.
Yeah, I can finish this with these questions. Yeah, these questions need to be.
Questions were never answered in the judgment of the Supreme Court, not of the High Court.
Yeah, no. I was quite comfortable with you, sir. Even the Kerala investigation was good. Otherwise, police and media is quite anti. But I congratulate Kerala police. They have done wonderful, sir. I don't know Ajit sir. I don't know Jagat sir. But the whole team should be congratulated. They are hardworking. They are hardworking. Very hard. But now when it is coming, and it happened almost 2 years back, 2012. Sir, it is all about human nature. As you come with a modest background, very simple background, even I feel
that's matter to be imbibed from the family.
it's a blood, it's a DNA, which comes from the family.
Yes, it comes from it. It's a thing to be inherited.
But in Supreme Court,
You groom your children like that. There is much in grooming.
modesty and politeness.
Yes.
It is never taught in the books.
Not taught in the college.
No,
Not in the taught in the school.
it's not the part of academic curriculum.
Yes.
But in Supreme Court, sir, sometimes they are. I'm sorry, sir, to.
I like that.
The king-like behavior still goes.
That is called egoism. feeling of that I am God.
And the God.
For that we have to read Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. But to my Lord we cannot suggest.
They must also read it. I have read it.
Mhm.
I have brought it there for some reading. Everything is in Maya. Just in my development. And the process of writing articles.
Even sir, in your professional time you was like this only? Okay. So sir, if I remind the whole entire case, I can finish with 3-4 answers, asking questions. Number one about the sewer, first of all, and second thing about the possibility of how a finance minister can delete anything from any article, from any
Not finance, foreign minister.
foreign minister. Yes, Salman Khurshid sir, how he can say give guarantee in parliament that he can delete or add something. Legal part. It is the whole part of the judicial system. And about the Supreme Court saying that this is state cannot deal with this case.
They cannot, these matters cannot be decided in the Supreme Court while the matter is pending trial. It should have been decided by the trial court itself. Then only they could have interfered. These are not matters to be looked into and decided before the trial starts. That's it.
Which has to be answered.